There we go. XlorD. When we talked about Sonic, we said he had this little entangle dance. When XlorD won the Iron Couch, there was a little twerking going on for Mousesports in yellow. It's XlorD. And his opponent in the upper right, longtime player for Oceanus Gaming, still doing for W3IL. The champion de la France, the SyDe. All right, Remo. What do we get? What are the builds? What can you tell us?
Ghoul build for SyDe. Is that the XlorD? Indeed it is. And Todd with a perfect read, expecting XlorD to play standard, and that is the case. XlorD beginning to move away from the XlorD. Was it Happy showing the way, or did he figure it out himself? We'll see about that. XlorD normally oftentimes played, almost always played with an expansion, and probably XlorD's going to be looking for that and trying to delay it, harass it, make it as expansive as possible. But exactly on this map here yesterday, between Krav and Happy, we saw how a wrong read and a surprising tech from the XlorD can fool the opponent who's expecting the fast expansion and can quickly get that XlorD out of control. XlorD can creep like crazy with Beetles. You have to make sure you're on top of him and don't allow him too much experience early.
Absolutely. And I want to point out about SyDe that whenever an undead hero gets buffed, he's one of the first ones to exploit the strength the best. Like when the Dreadlord got buffed, he was Mr. Dreadlord in the blink of an eye. Like the sleeps, the surround, the carrion swarm. It was so great. And also with the XlorD, he became one of the strongest players in Europe with that hero very, very quickly. And maybe he's one of them who can show the world that attacking XlorD is also a very good idea. Usually, one of the specialties of SyDe is mass. In several matchups, we see mass ghoul floods with triple crypt. We see necro wagons, actually. So, let's see what he brings to the table right here.
XlorD so far being quite aggressive, but I don't like his position here that much, honestly. He's not going for the newer approach of delaying the tech in favor of more fiends. He techs, so the classic Tet Fiend build into fiend and then more ziggurats. And he just coiled his Acolyte to keep it alive, so he couldn't steal one of the last hits for the XlorD, so he's now very close to level 2. Wakes up the creeps, triggering the Bloodlust early, but there's a lot of beetles around and skeletons. This should be a pretty easy camp, and pulling out the creeps like this may even make things easier for this group.
Alright, there's still a couple of coils for XlorD. These big last hits are so important. Can he keep the XlorD from level 2? It's going to be a super tough task. But maybe he can do some damage. Maybe he can creep a little something. XlorD is losing the Acolyte. Extra experience for the XlorD here. Super close to level 2, and with that, Impale. There we go.
DK, is he going to run into that Impale surround? Misses the coil. Nothing going XlorD's way. SyDe is threatening the surround. Impale gets it. DK was way too close. And this early game for XlorD is not looking good at all. A few blunders, and suddenly the XlorD expansion is looking really good.
And look at this. The big favorite is struggling. We've seen this before in group stages. It was the Stay-at-Home Story Cup, where a lot of people expected XlorD to go, maybe not all the way, but semi-finalist for sure. It's kind of the same situation here at DreamHack Summer. But there he was eliminated. It was a super tough group, to be fair, with Happy and Spiral as well, when he was still playing the strong orc. And here, it's very early to say, but we've seen better early games for sure. And now he moves north again with an empty inventory and only one chart of Royal Necromancy.
Finally, still some last hits. Can he finally get some experience here, for heaven's sake? No, still 0. Nice surround. Again, no coil, and there was definitely a window there. Oh, the ensnare. Is he gonna get the surround on the Fiend? This would make this early game absolutely disastrous. Okay, Fiend gets away. Well, maybe it doesn't. Eats the Impale, is surrounded, will be falling. Is that level 3? It is, right? Oh, boy. Level 3 XlorD, level 2 Beetles. Let the fun begin.
Oh, finally, some experience for XlorD, but Yeah, the big favorite for the ESL Meisterschaft is struggling quite a bit. No Unholy Aura. And it's already hard. Wow, it's a dark range, just like Happy. It's already hard to get out of these mass unit surrounds, especially with Impale. But if you have no Aura, it makes things even harder. So, just like Happy, he puts his faith into a Dark Ranger.
A town is under siege.
If he had the Aura now, if he had a Fiend or two more, then this would be kind of scary, but this looks pretty safe for SyDe. He's got a narrow up. Oh, it's for Acolyte at the expansion again. Todd, don't look. Oh, wait a minute. He's actually making the Acolyte. Okay,
He's coming?
it's gonna be 5 out of 5. Yesterday we had a Foggy versus Juan where the entire game there was a Wisp missing.
A player's forces are under attack.
That wasn't fixed, but here SyDe does. This is like a perfect CryptLord early game if you ask me. Right now, of course, he doesn't have the easiest time with the Dark Ranger skeletons and Fiend and so on. XlorD has a good amount of map control and is using that well here to creep camps away from the enemy. CryptLord is low mana and at the moment has no means of regenerating mana.
Okay, still distracting XlorD from reaching level 2. Any possibility for a last hit? Not getting it, and that is the Unholy Aura. SyDe trying to go for a Ghoul Flood, trying to aim for more surrounds we've seen from Vortex. How impactful that can be. Gets the Fiend, there's a coil, closes it again.
That was a surround without even the impalement. Just good ghoul movement. 2 ghouls are gonna die for this, but I guess that is an okay trade with the expansion in mind.
Yeah, SyDe, quite a legendary quote from him, right? Playing the mass ghouls. Why should I build more than 1 unit if I can end the game with 1 unit only? He loves ghouls.
Double Crypta coming and Graveyard, so seems like a Fiend transition for SyDe. Or do we have even more Graveyards? Crypts, that is. No. Making more ghouls, however. Not going into Fiends yet. Got the next surround. Oh, that Fiend might be able to get away with a bit of healing from the statue. Oh, the last pincer attack comes in. And CryptLord is also surrounded, though. Needs to TP out. But that was a great job by SyDe. He kept the DK and Dark Ranger away from creeping for a really long time. Killed 2 Fiends. Yeah, he lost a few ghouls, but he was also buying time for his tech to kick in. He is now tier 2. He's got Fiends now coming and the DK, and has bridged a lot of time until he finally gets strong.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, I thought maybe it's like too many ghouls that he was losing there in the end, but looking at the army strength, he's easily back up at 40, does the transition now, as you say. XlorD is a little bit supply stuck. He queued the Ziggurat maybe a little late, but of course tier 3 arrival is very expensive for the undead. Here we go, push onto this haunted gold mine. There is a Narub tower, and the ghouls are of course close as well. Is the CryptLord ready? The mana definitely is not.
I didn't buy a mana potion, very surprisingly. It's so cheap nowadays, and with an expansion, you can easily afford it. We oftentimes see 2 mana pots being bought right away on tier 2. Not doing it here. Another surround. How many surrounds did SyDe get this game? This one leads to another kill. That's 1 Fiend down, and a DK is about to come in here for SyDe.
Probably saw the Vortex vs Neutron game, was like, come on, let me show you how it's done with the CryptLord. Definitely doable. Little beetles do quite some damage, but XlorD I think stabilizes. But now we are in the Fiend mirror stage, basically.
Oh, to the left. Speaking of Fiends, one is getting chased by the beetles. And the beetles are faster. Bugs are faster than spiders, guys. Keep that in mind. Very important for your trips when you're going camping.
Is that the same in real life as well? Yeah, kind of, right?
Pretty sure.
Warcraft 3, a very realistic game.
Why would Blizzard lie to us?
The town is under siege.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to trigger Neo, not working yet. Maybe later in the day. So, SyDe creeping in the middle. Well, they're both trying to. Who's gonna get the big camp? No more looking for surrounds here. Of course, with the Fiends it's not so easy anymore, but the beetles are still active. And the Burrow, quite annoying.
Forces are under attack.
It feels like XlorD can't move away from this position. If he leaves and SyDe gets the 2 middle camps as well as all the other advantages he has, this might be insurmountable of a lead.
XlorD's tier 3 tech isn't even finished. Coming only now. We're 10 minutes in already. We get Burrow, we get Web for SyDe, so even if there's like air transition, should be fine. What's XlorD next power spike where he can maybe overwhelm? The arrival of tier 3 with Destros and Orb?
Last hit here. Flute. DK gets it. Nicely done.
SyDe starting the burrow game here. Good ones. Do we have a reveal? Looks like it. There we go. Has to unburrow. Not the strongest heal here, and that's level 3 for the Dark Ranger.
With that, Dark Arrow becomes a lot more powerful. Dangerous skeletons and also a lot of bonus damage. Quite surprised SyDe hasn't been getting any upgrades yet.
Town is under
The
siege.
DK is taking a lot of damage here.
He got 1-0. Just finished it. Finished.
And normally with the expansion you can afford a lot, and if you get to 3-1 or 3-2 upgrades quickly with a big Fiend army, that's very, very powerful, and that's something that your opponent on one
Player's
base cannot
forces are
afford to
under
follow.
attack.
So far, I'm quite curious that we haven't seen too many beetles in XlorD's base. They were all involved in these fights, I think, and no Acolyte harass, not much scouting. He sent 2 now after these statues, but couldn't get the kill. Not powerful enough just yet.
Yeah, a few have been sent out, but it wasn't abused too much yet. Cryptlord, I guess, wasn't spamming those mana pots too heavily. Which brings in the orb for SyDe. Starting to transition into Banshees, by the way. Temple, and only single temple, so should be Banshees. And more upgrades coming now. Red Camp being crept by SyDe, but also XlorD getting quite a bit. And he's up at 52 supply. Looks like perhaps he's mustering for a push right now.
Oh boy, he will be facing a plus 26 Lich right away. That's pretty damn powerful. But okay, how many towers do we have? 1 Spirit Tower, 1 Naruk Tower. These ghouls will be taken out easily. We have the Lich for XlorD as well carrying the orb. This is a big and decisive fight, but SyDe has 2 towers to fortify this.
XlorD still with the stronger heroes. This might be the one push, the one chance that XlorD still has in this game. Cryptlord coming forward for SyDe. He's level 4, but doesn't have the most mana. Perhaps the shop here might have been a good idea.
Intercepting reinforcements. So smart by XlorD. First going for the workers, starting a little skeleton snowball that can now deal with the rest of the acolytes, and then moving to the right because he knows that there's gonna be new production coming in. Heal ward cancel immediately, coil on time as well, regen everywhere, sweet! Impale! And there's more to come.
Yeah, started out being silenced here, the Cryptlord, but then he got the Impale right in the money. More fiends dying on both sides. It is XlorD with a Splile here. Next Impale comes in, hits everything. Heal ward finally taken out. That did some good healing though. Banshee getting saved, barely towards the back. Coil coming in there, level 2 now for the Lich here for XlorD. Going for the DK. SyDe's second hero is quite hurt. Doesn't have anything really to protect himself, but the towers are still helping the Frenchman. But XlorD's kiting back, 52 supply still for him. Nukes that Lich out of existence. Going for the DK after, and perhaps the German still does have a chance.
All of a sudden a double kill and the tap out. XlorD struggling again a little bit, but the win for Daniel Spenst. Whew, that was one hell of a crazy fight there in the end.
That push came out of nowhere. Like, he was struggling so hard. The early game was horrific, and the mid game SyDe did a pretty good job. But it seemed like he just wasn't able to mass the proper amount of units quickly enough. Very surprising. I thought SyDe was in such a great position in that game. But the low level DK, in the late game, this makes such a big difference. Having the weaker aura, having the weaker coil in the big fights is a problem. The Cryptlord's 2 Impales were nice, but that was all. That was all that he provided pretty much.
Yeah, I think SyDe maybe should have grabbed his second hero a little bit more instead of getting into fights that he couldn't really win at the time. Especially because he uses his entire mana pool with those Impales if he fights like in the center. And then he won't have as much mana for the fights later on. And he broke up keep instantly, almost like in a panic, because he thought he was going to be attacked, but that wasn't the case. So then he ended up mining a lot less. He was mining at 7 + 7. That's 14 against the 10 of XlorD that I was saving gold for a while before going for the big push. So XlorD equaled the supply. He had better heroes, and I think he had better micro in the last fight. And I'm almost wondering now, is this almost like the end of the Cryptlord meta in Mirror? Like, if you can't even win off of that start, when are you ever going to win?
Yeah, that maybe it's the case with a standard build that with superior micro, you can win games. And maybe that's also the reason why for example, a 1-2-0 and a happy are not picking up on him. You're on a player slot, by the way, Todd.
Yeah. Could he have done a lot of things better? I think the Banshee transition was perhaps not the right call. Banshees can be strong, but they need a lot of time. You need like 3 Banshees first and Adept training until finally you actually get something out of that tech. Whereas with Destroyers,
Yeah, a little bit of a situation here. Todd really wants to play against SyDe. Couldn't leave his
No,
player
but
slot right there.
Yeah, I was trying to pick Observer and then nothing happened. So I was like, wait, am I lagging or something? But everything was full.
All right, we are ready. Man, this could already be the last game of the day. Todd, your advice for SyDe now to turn the series around.
Oh my god.
I know, man, it's hard. That's why
Just
I'm
get the
asking you.
same good start, but then don't fight as much. Maybe creep a little more, play a bit more conservative. Don't break up keep too early. Save some of that sweet gold, you know? Like, wait for at least 1,000 gold. And then you have my permission to break up keep. And maybe a Dreadlord. Why not try a Dreadlord if you're so convinced the opponent's gonna Death Knight?
Dude, I wanted to say it once we started on Northern Isles that the best game we've seen probably all year was a Cryptlord versus Dreadlord on Northern Isles. That was Craft versus Scud. And oh man, can two undead players please recreate this magic with Locust Swarm and Infernals and all that? I would love that. And SyDe's signature hero is definitely the Dreadlord. I would love him to play it now. But yeah, SyDe does a lot of like fan service, especially on his stream, and we all celebrate when he plays the Dreadlord and we see this drop the base Infernal things. But yeah, this is the biggest competition that we have in Europe. Probably no time for shenanigans, but for the build that you think is best. We have Concealed Hill as our second map. We have match points for XlorD, who is once again starting in the bottom left. So let's join right into it. In the upper right, trailing a little, 1-0 down, the hero of France, it's SyDe. Wait a second. It's SyDe. What's up with this intro? There we go. Was still in the breaks, but it should be fine. Now, in the bottom left, once again in yellow with the 1-0 lead for Mouseboards, it's XlorD. So, anything interesting you can tell us already, judging from the buildings we see?
so far it's the same builds. We have a ghoul opening by SyDe, which especially on this map should be Cryptlord. Dreadlord is so hard to make work here. It is the Cryptlord. Dreadlord relies on expansion, much like a Cryptlord does, but he's a lot weaker early, so the harder the expansion is to creep, the tougher of a task has especially the Dreadlord. And this is concealed, man. This expo is really hard. You have to creep this expansion by using sleep on the null, but if your opponent is scouting there, even an acolyte or skeletons can wake up the null, no more sleep, no more mana, you missed the surround, complete disaster, GG. So, Cryptlord, excuse me, Papa Roach, the much safer choice. But XlorD once again feels he can play against that hero and still get a win out in the end. Where did it go wrong, SyDe? Where did the last game slip away? He had the lead, he was supposed to win it. Was it the tech choice being the wrong one? Should he have been going harder into destroyers?
I think he looked really good with the ghouls until that one fight in the bottom where he maybe was staying a little bit too long. I think in like 2 seconds he lost 3 ghouls because XlorD had excellent Fiend micro and just got the last hits there, one after the next. Maybe this is where things derailed a little bit. It got XlorD the experience he needed, and from that moment on, I think he got his confidence back after this early game. For me, there was kind of a shift in momentum in this game, which then led to this great fight in the north. So do you think SyDe needs a pocket strat? Oh, there was the coil. Already this early game a little better for XlorD. And a ghoul as well!
A lot better already. And the DK is here, threatening the next last hit.
A group of ghouls. A little hesitant joining this fight. Can the Cripple get this? This is kind of an invitation for this DK to kill the giant seed rod. How do you play around this now? Answer is you don't.
Yeah, normally the way you ideally want to do it is bring a lot of ghouls to that camp so you don't lose one too easily. And like get both creeps in low HP range at the same time. So you can only go for one. But in this case, DK got both and is close to level 2 already. He's in position at the natural. He's definitely going to get level 2 here. So much, much, much better early game this time around. Which is kind of to be expected on this map.
Okay. More last hit, this time level 2. He has one more coil and probably saves it for the Overseer, but nice surround by SyDe. SyDe shows it again that he's definitely capable of surrounding, but loses another ghoul probably. There's a lot of purges on this XlorD. XlorD, can he capitalize? Force the TP. The Fiend is dealing with this, and the Overseer is still there.
That skeleton expired at the worst time for SyDe. And the Haunted Goldmine is going to get cancelled. The Crippler's almost dead. The Fiend is chasing, can wake up the creeps. If he wants. Oh boy, Crippler gets level 2 finally.
The block.
But he's even getting blocked. The Expo is cancelled. It's a complete disaster.
Look at this block, and the DK sees him, could block again, sidestep by side, but there's the aura. This is a TP or death. Frostborn, hunger. Oh, no way. Oh, don't tell me. Ooh, quick reaction by XlorD. Yeah, man. Turns around, got the impale right here when he got up to level 2, had the mana. That could have been the kill, and he has to destroy the item because he's so afraid that the DK is coming in and steals it. But yeah, Expo's still gone. He's got to be careful, man. His Ritual Dagger is running. He needs this HP regen. Isn't it crazy how for such a long time Undead Mirror was so tame and a creeping Fiesta, and sometimes you had like Fiend exchanges that were like Breaker Wars but with longer range, and then in the worst case you got this Destroyer Mirror which was so lame, and now it's from minute 2 on absolute chaos.
Yeah, and over the last few weeks it also seems like the XlorD is getting figured out more and more and looking more beatable week by week. Even before the nerfs coming in.
Don't give them any ideas, man. Don't shout too loud. He's still very good.
Yeah, but the weaknesses have been discovered and are getting exploited more and more. We see that clearly in many matchups nowadays.
Reju potion.
We're close to level 3 now, though. And that is where he truly unfolds his strength, begins to unfold his strength.
Do you think it's the good idea by SyDe to be a little stubborn about this Haunted Goldmine, or should he go for the Krav approach and just tech rather?
Well, once you commit to the creep camp and you're investing so many ghouls, you have to do it. Like, you have to make that decision way earlier if you do want to go for a one-base play rather. But now he's stuck with this. He has to try to hold this expansion. There's a lot of skeletons here already. Can they get the cancel? No. And the XlorD gets to level 3 with plenty of mana left, by the way.
It's not too
but the ghouls that die don't give corpses, thanks to the Dark Ranger turning them into skeletons right away.
I was about to say the same, man. The Black Arrow, really helpful for XlorD. Gets another Fiend surrounded, but that used an Impale. It also paid with 2 ghouls for it. He needs these vanilla surrounds.
So many skeletons, dude. How many is that? That's like 8 or something. So hard to just walk in against these with ghouls and look for the surrounds. One of them even going down to the skeleton. Well, at least it's another corpse. So at least the XlorD getting some more beetles.
XlorD is
scary push still.
XlorD is playing a fantastic Dark Ranger. So many Black Arrows at the right time, always getting these corpses. Yes, he's losing 1 or 2 fiends. But that's really impressive. It feels like instead the XlorD spiraling out of control with all the corpses, it's now turned against him.
Yeah, and now he's out of mana. Maybe he's gonna get one more round of beetles here soon, but that's gonna be it then for a while. And these statues, the movement speed for extended engagements, super good for XlorD. who's getting closer to tier 3, by the way. Still gonna be a while, just started, but he's getting more and more kills. SyDe has the bonus income of the expansion, again with an Acolyte missing. Making it now, though. But he is suffering heavily. So many losses.
Forces are under attack.
So expensive. And XlorD is on a good way to tier 3, where he's becoming quite a bunch more powerful than he already was with all the tier 3 additions. He's still 0-0. It shows you all the resources go into tech and some army. 42 supply. Doesn't feel like the world, but in the hands of XlorD, it's really scary.
Yeah, with proper micro, the value you can get out of aura, coil, and statues is tremendous, especially against melee armies, who have to come in close and against which you can kite so effectively. Well, one fiend here is slowed. Another one could be getting slow. That could be the surround right there. SyDe needs to get these surrounds. The ghoul numbers are dwindling. Can't close them too easily anymore. And they just slip out.
Yeah.
Nicely oiled up.
So good at getting out of these surrounds. Good beetle micro here, sending it to the statues. By the way, prior to this game, there was a little betting game on our Discord, and SyDe himself said XlorD is going to win this series 5-0. So not the biggest confidence there, but also, of course, feeding the XlorD 5-0 meme. And instead of surrounding the fiends, he gets surrounded. This could be the end right here. There's no TP. There's no staff.
XlorD opened it up, actually. Bit of a mistake there. Well, definitely clear blunder, not just a small one.
But again, these last hits Black Arrow. He's still up against 2 Nerubian towers. But yeah, tier 2 tech only now almost done. XlorD is at tier 3.
These ghouls, once they walk in, they just get sniped right away. The Dark Ranger second, she seems to be the answer against this XlorD play.
In the right hands, man. She looks so good. Alright, and now we can go for the Acolytes once again. Kind of easy tasks if the Dark Ranger's in place. We didn't see any silence, right? It was her entire mana pool was used for Black Arrow.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
And she's been raising a lot of skeletons from that.
A player's
Great job.
forces are under attack.
And he's close to level 3
Town
now,
is
by the
under
way.
siege.
230 mana going into Black Arrow. That's quite nice. Plus statue regen, of course. And SyDe, what to do? He got not even burrow yet. Gets the DK, waiting for the right moment. These Nerub towers are buying a lot of time.
The DK and more fiends are gonna help. I hope this time SyDe gets a mana pot. Mana pot, impales, and then find maybe some more kills.
Trying to catch up with attack. Started his tier 3 right away. DK is almost there, and he needs to bring the pot, as he said. Fiend numbers are okay, and hiding behind the towers, that was the impale.
Problem is, as SyDe's tier 2 comes online, XlorD's tier 3 comes online. The Lich and Orb and Nova. And that's more kills. More losses for SyDe. Finally comes the DK. But he only has so many coils to use. And yeah, the impales are alright. But where's the follow-up damage for SyDe?
Did you see once the Lich arrived in the first focus fire with the Orb of Corruption? It's an insta-kill. That Fiend was melting so fast, and at this point, what do you do if you don't have a counter push? The DK, oh man, that life was shortly lived. And no coil again, and also no mana.
This looks like the end here. This very much looks like our next 2-0 in today's DreamHack Summer Games. Double Fiends being rallied in from the main, but man, that is a spider massacre. Spider grinder. More getting taken out.
Again,
and these statues.
The great position by XlorD in a way that he always intercepts the reinforcements. Same as on Northern Isles, and that's then easy kills. And SyDe can't really prevent this because he needs this army. Oh, DK slowed again. XlorD gets away for now. But it's only a matter of seconds, I guess. XlorD choking him out.
Very impressively. This value out of the statues and aura by XlorD this game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He outvalued an enemy expansion with aura and statues.
Yes. And SyDe is playing by no means bad. There's no huge mistakes
Town
that
is
clearly
under siege.
cost him the game.
A player's forces
Still
are under
trying, but
attack.
boy, is it looking rough.
Yeah.
CryptLord 1 Nova away from dying. But SyDe bought time for tier 3. He doesn't have a Lich coming yet, but he could go for an orb, I guess, maybe. But dude, there's no more Acolytes at the expansion. Almost no more. Level 2 skeletons now, dealing with them. Lich has hit level 2 already. Only thing XlorD is missing is level 4 DK. And then he's got the ultimate army unlocked.
It's funny, like when this CryptLord came up, one point of discussion was, yeah, just take the corpses away. Play a Fire Lord, play a Dark Ranger. We were laughing quite a bit about it. But if players have this control of an army, it is working. And it's fascinating. GG, well played. XlorD 2-0.
Well played.